and our admissions guidelines. So the hotel school was actually established in 1989. So we began as the Intercontinental Hotel School, the brainchild of the former general manager of the Intercontinental Hotel in Sydney. So we are actually Australia's oldest hotel school. We've since opened up 2 more CBD campuses. So in 2015, we opened up in Melbourne on Lonsdale Street, and in 2019, we opened up in Brisbane on Creek Street. So we're right in the middle of the city in all 3 of those locations. We have very strong industry connections. What you'll see throughout this presentation is that we place a strong emphasis on finding employment opportunities for our students. That is the key goal of the Hotel School Australia, is to connect our students with employment opportunities. And that happens in different ways, through part-time work, through paid internships, and ultimately through graduate positions. The industry connections that we've built over 35 years play a really strong part in us being able to provide those opportunities to our students. We are, of course, offering a public university degree. We're very proud to be part of Southern Cross University and offer our students that fantastic internationally recognised qualification. Work integrated learning is a key component of the hotel school programs. We look to bring the industry into the classroom as much as possible, and also to take the classroom out and put them into industry. And all of this we deliver in the boutique environments that we have. So Southern Cross University is a multi-campus Australian university. They are known as a leader in university level tourism studies and research, and I'll show you some rankings around that later. We have the 6x6 educational model, or the SCU model, and our academic programs are actually developed in collaboration with industry leaders. We provide practical training with mentorship from experienced professionals. So in terms of the rankings, I've cherry-picked some that support the tourism side of things. So SCU was ranked in the Good Universities Guide as #1 in Australia for student support in tourism, hospitality and leisure in the undergraduate studies, and a 5-star overall experience in tourism and hospitality. More broadly, we're ranked within the top 1,000 global universities and ranked in the top 200 in the highest ranking subject area, tourism and hospitality, and ranked in the top 100 young universities in the Times Higher Education rankings from this year. In terms of career choices, I think it's really important to have a clear understanding of what the hotel school delivers, because often when you think of hotel management programs, especially in some parts of South Asia and Southeast Asia, people tend to merge those with commercial cookery courses. So at the hotel school, we don't have any commercial kitchens. We are not providing students with training to be a chef. We are in fact delivering business degrees, but business degrees that have specific focuses towards hotels, hospitality, tourism, and events. That means that there's a broad range of potential employment outcomes for students, from the general hotel management roles like front office, guest services, housekeeping, food and beverage, through to business roles within a hotel, such as sales and marketing, human resources, public relations, asset or brand management. So there really is a broad range of employment outcomes for students at the end of these courses. I mentioned before that one of the primary focuses of the hotel school is to find employment opportunities for our students. We want to ensure that our students see a return on investment, and that return on investment is through employment, in most cases in Australia for some period of time. So to do that, on top of the amazing curriculum that we have from Southern Cross University, we also organise a number of job-ready practical training opportunities for students. Things like field trips to hotels or tourism and hospitality venues. Recently, we took a group of students from our Sydney campus to a winery in the Hunter, region, where students were met by the hotel GM, given access to understand behind the scenes some of the tips and tricks and of running a multi-million-dollar business. We have a strong range of industry guest speakers that come through the campus on a regular basis to talk on different areas that the students are studying on. We just recently took a group of students to Singapore on an international field trip where we subsidised the cost for both the local Australians and international students. We offer specialist career coaching, personal brand development, and even organise mock interviews with real HR managers from top five-star hotels. So all of this has led to some really strong employment outcomes. Now, I want you to take this in for a second. We had 100% employment. So that's 100% of students employed within 6 months of graduation. 92% of those were hired before graduation, and over 3/4 of our students are working in five-star brands. So more and more when we talk about international education, we're having a conversation about a return on investment. Why should I spend so much money to send my son or daughter to Australia to study hotel management? Now, the return on investment is not just the piece of paper from Southern Cross University, the testimonial which says that they've completed their degree. That's part of it. Part of it is the experience, the cultural immersion of studying internationally, the personal development. But of course, we cannot neglect the financial side. And on the financial side, the return on investment is often through that graduate position that students get at the end of their degree. Having these strong employment outcomes gives parents the confidence that sending their son or daughter to the Hotel School Australia will provide them with a return on investment. So we have a team of staff at the hotel school called our Professional Learning Centre, and their job is to connect our students with the industry. They're the industry connection. So they help students find internships, they provide advice on part-time jobs, they are their career mentors and help them get graduate positions. They also organise a series of different sessions every term to provide students with more and more opportunities to improve their standing, to make them more employable, and to develop new skills. In both our undergraduate and our postgraduate programs, students have the opportunity to do an 8-month paid internship, a minimum of 600 hours of paid internship. Now, the internship is there in these programs to give students an opportunity to learn in the industry, to work full-time, to gain experience, to build their professional network. But of course, they also get paid very well. And this is something that international students particularly find very attractive. So the minimum salary rate for a paid intern is $27.02 per hour, which means if they just do the minimum of 600 hours, they're going to earn over $16,000 during the internship, something that can be very helpful for international students. Now, the internships, I often get asked where they're going to be, what sort of roles are they going to do? Well, we have internship opportunities with the big multi-brand, multinational hotels, IHG, Marriott, Accor, Hyatt, Hilton. We work with some of the boutique hotels like Capella. We work with airlines like Qatar or Emirates. We work with cruise lines like Carnival and Royal Caribbean. We have students that have done internships at Disney. There's a huge range of opportunities available depending upon what the students are actually looking for and depending upon their experience. So students, the internship is a real job. So it's a job which is commensurate with their experience. If this is an undergraduate student who has zero work experience in the industry, they're going to come in at an entry-level position. We need to set expectations for the students. We often ask students, what would you like your first job to be? And lots of them will say, I would like to be the general manager of a Hyatt. Well, that's a great career aspiration, but that's not going to be your first job. So it's important that we're setting expectations. Likewise, if it's a postgrad student who's had some work experience, they'll probably go in at a supervisory or a management level, even during the internship. So the internship will match up with what their experience is. As I mentioned before, we have 3 iconic campus locations right in the heart of Sydney and the CBD, same with Melbourne and also Brisbane. The courses are all run on all 3 of the campuses, and students have the opportunity to choose which of the campuses they want to start on. They also have the opportunity to transfer later if they would like to. We talk about student mobility. To be honest, though, that's not something that most international students will take advantage of. Okay, our courses. This is going to be really easy, really straightforward. We essentially have 1 undergraduate program and 1 postgraduate program. So at an undergraduate level, we have the Bachelor of Business in Hotel Management, 3-year degree. Within that 3 years, 8 months will be a paid industry internship. And for the first time ever, the new bachelor program that we offer at the hotel school has the opportunity for students to get a named major. So that could be in events, it could be in hospitality, or it could be in tourism. They are able to start selecting those electives, which will determine their named major from year 2. At a postgraduate level, we have the Masters of Business in Global Hotel Leadership, a 2-year master's program. This program was developed by the industry for the industry. It gives students an opportunity to come into a higher level management role directly after graduation. It does include that 8 months of paid internship as part of this program as well. So 2 really exciting programs. We are very specialised in the areas of hospitality, tourism and events, with a real strong focus on the employment opportunities. And we deliver all of these programs within the SCU model. So for those of you, I'm sure you're all pretty familiar with this from working with SCU, 6-week terms, 6 terms per year, 3 intakes. And it gives the students the opportunity to narrow their focus, to focus on 1, maximum 2 units of study per term, which gives them the opportunity to progress through the course. They will get breaks between terms, which is quite popular with students, and it provides a little bit more flexibility for the students. Academic support. At SCU, we're very big on academic support, so one-on-one support with assessments, feedback on improving. We offer workshops, and the support is available 5 days per week. The summary, I just wanted to show here, and I'm quite happy to share these slides afterwards, the potential income for 2025. So what we have here is the total indicative fees over the duration of the program, plus the total potential earnings from internship and casual work. So we've worked out 48 hours at the minimum salary rate per fortnight, 48 hours or 24 hours per week at the minimum salary rate, plus the 600 hours of internship. The students will have the opportunity to earn that. It's just a general figure depending upon how many hours the students work. It depends on what their pay rate is, but this is an indication to show the potential return on investment during study. I just wanted to quickly emphasize that at the moment, we're still seeing an acute shortage of staff within hotels, hospitality and tourism in Australia. This is a perfect opportunity for students to come down and launch a really successful career. We are seeing students being promoted at a much faster rate than we have in the past. We are seeing salary rates increase pretty substantially. And we are seeing a huge demand for our graduates, our current students, to fill gaps within this industry. So if people are thinking about what the right area to study is, I can tell them that it's a really good time to come down and study hotel management or hospitality in Australia. Okay, we'll leave the Q&A to the end because I want to introduce the main star of today, Mr. John Crowder, the VP Global Admissions for SCU Metro Campuses. And John is an expert who I'm sure you're all very familiar with. And he, as I mentioned before, with the merger, John's team is now looking after the THS admissions as well. So you benefit from the fast turnaround times, the really clear and easy process, And I think John's going to share a little bit and maybe run through the GSR and admissions guidelines. So, John, I'll stop sharing and hand the floor over to you.
Thank you, Tim, and good morning to everyone there. As Tim said, my name is John. I'm the Vice President Global Admissions for Southern Cross University, and we now look after the hotel school applications as well. So I can see there's a lot of questions starting in the chat box already. I have answered as many of those as I could before I start talking. I will answer all of the questions that you're asking, so please continue to put them into the chat box. You may find that some of them will be answered as we go through the presentation. So I will, firstly, before I start, I'm going to put a link in the chat box for you. For those of you who do not know this, this chat will take you through to our GTE or GSR now and admissions guide. This document will give you a very, very clear understanding of what the requirements are for your particular country. So we have built it especially for you, for agents to use, so that you have a very clear understanding of what admissions is looking at when they are processing an application. So this will go over the academic requirements as well as the financials and the genuine student and English requirements as well. So I'll share my screen and go over that with you to give you a bit of a guide through it for those who are not familiar yet. Just give me one moment to open that up. And hopefully you can all see that now. So when you go to that link, it will bring you to this landing page, GSR and admissions guide. You would simply type your country into the search box. Now, I think the first question I had was about Nepal. So if you typed in Nepal and hit enter, you will see on the left-hand side here, you know it is for Nepal. It clearly states Nepal. And you will see a drop-down menu here. Genuine student statement, conditional offer, documentation required, academic requirements, financials, etc. Each one of those sections, by clicking on that, it will expand the section and give you a very clear guideline as to what you are looking for. So I'll go through these. Obviously, there will be differences depending on the country. This is why I can't go through all countries now, but I'm going to use a couple of examples from a couple of different countries, starting with Nepal. Now, Nepal is obviously a level 3 country, as is India. So much of the genuine student requirement information will be similar for both countries. The first thing that we have to look at is that every student from a level 2 and level 3 country is required to provide a genuine student statement with supporting evidence. Before I get too far into the presentation, I do want to comment a little bit on why we need that. Everyone will be aware that recently the Australian government attempted to apply caps to international student enrolments in Australia. They were trying to cap the number of international students coming into the country at 260,000 per year. That legislation was not passed by Parliament, so there are no caps. But just because there are no caps, it doesn't mean that the government is still not trying to restrict the number of students coming in. Excuse me. We have an election year next year. And migration is always a hot topic coming into an election year. We do expect that things will settle down after the election, but we don't know when the election will be called yet. So between now and that time, we're in a state of flux. We have seen over the last week an increase in visa refusals across the sector. I'm not talking about Southern Cross University only. I'm talking about across the sector in high-risk markets, such as high-risk areas of India, Nepal, and Bangladesh. So we need to be very careful when we are assessing applications and ensure that students are meeting the genuine student requirements. It is in all of our interests that our students are granted a visa. If the visa is refused, it affects your reputation, our reputation, and our evidence level, and obviously affects the student, because a visa refusal may mean that they are unable to apply for a visa to another country, particularly a Commonwealth country, because Commonwealth countries all share their immigration data. And if they've had a visa refusal from one country, it makes it significantly more difficult to get a visa grant from another country. So the first thing that you will see here is the link to the genuine student statement. You can see here that this is GSS medium and high risk. So that means this applies to level 2 and 3 countries. As Nepal is a level 3 country, there is a link to that genuine student statement. Now, this is a new form. Those of you who have worked with us before will know that we previously had a PDF document that needed to be filled in, and we would request for you to upload or attach supporting documents to that PDF document. We recognize that the PDF document was difficult for everyone. It resulted in a lot of work, having to clearly label documents which were often not done properly, and that resulted in it being sent back to the agent, taking more time than necessary. So for the medium and high risk genuine student statement, we now have it in an online format where you will complete the genuine student statement online, and once you have finished, down the bottom, you will submit that, and it will go directly into the student's StudyLink account. That is why this section here is very important. This is the student StudyLink record email address. So you'll all be aware that when you are using StudyLink, every application gets their own unique email address. It is that email address that we want in this field. You will find that in the student StudyLink record. All you need to do, you can see here that we have the address in there already. All you need to do is add the StudyLink application ID number, so whatever that might be, and then you've got the email address in there. So it's all done for you, except adding in that. You can see that any field marked with a red asterisk is a mandatory field. So the form will not let you submit if you have not completed a mandatory field. You will get an error message like this if it is a mandatory field and you have not completed it. The same applies to the written answer questions in section 2. These questions are designed to mirror exactly the questions that a student is asked in their student visa application. So questions 1 to 4 in this section will all apply to offshore students. The advantage of the online form is that we set it up exactly the way that immigration does. Immigration will allow you 1,000 characters to answer each of the written questions. We will also allow you 1,000 characters, And you can see as I type into this, it will tell you how many characters you have left. Once you reach 1,000 characters, it will cut off and you won't be able to write anymore. So it is very important, the same as it is when you're lodging a visa application, that you answer the question specifically. Below each question, we have given you some guidelines about what you must discuss in this section. This applies to all students, regardless of what course they're applying for, whether it's a hotel school course or a Southern Cross University bachelor's degree or master's degree. It applies to all students. So the points that are marked out clearly for you must be commented on in the question. If they are not, then there is a chance that the student will not pass the GSR. I'd like to draw your attention most of all to this one here. This is the most common reason for visa refusal in Australia at the moment. We see visa refusals where the visa officer said that the student has failed to demonstrate reasonable reasons for not studying the course in their home country if a similar course is available to them there. So it is very important that that is covered in question 1. You will then see that under each question, there is an upload button where you can upload your supporting evidence for your response to question 1. Remember that whatever claims you make in the response, you must provide supporting evidence for. Making a claim without supporting evidence is quite useless. We cannot give a lot of weight to the response if we don't have evidence to support those comments. So what you would do, let's say you made 5 claims in your response to question 1. You would get all of your evidence to support those 5 claims, combine it into one document and upload it next to in this supporting evidence for question 1. Clicking on that button will allow you to upload your file. And the same for question 2, again, upload supporting evidence. Question 3, upload supporting evidence. Again, you will note that there is a red asterisk next to the document. That means that this question requires supporting evidence. And if you do not provide that supporting evidence, you will not be able to submit the application. This makes things a lot quicker for everybody because it ensures that the admissions team gets all of the information that they need at the one time, in the one place, attached to the application form. It saves you time because you're not having to label documents, you're just uploading them against the question. And then you would just go through the rest of the form. Part 3 of the form is about the financial checklist. So this is where you would be uploading supporting evidence about the student's finances. Again, wherever you see a red asterisk, it means it is compulsory. If you do not see a red asterisk, it is not compulsory if it doesn't apply. However, things like tax assessments, we strongly recommend that you upload those if they're available, because that is the sort of information that immigration is also looking for. So that is the genuine student statement. Once you get through that, you click submit. And as I said, it will go directly into the student's record where the admissions team will focus on that. Documentation required. Again, this applies to all applicants for any Southern Cross course. Obviously, we require a completed application form, and that is done through the StudyLink agent portal. All students from level 2 and 3 countries must apply through an agent. They are not allowed to apply directly. So the second one here does not apply. You would lodge an application on their behalf through StudyLink. We are very proud of the fact that we have arguably the fastest turnaround times for new offers in the country. We will guarantee an offer within 24 hours of the application being submitted, provided you have given us the minimum documents to do so. So that is a completed application, academic transcripts, a color copy of the student's passport biodata page. If the student is married, we must have a marriage certificate. If the student has backlogs, we must have a backlog statement as well. So those are the minimum requirements in order to get an offer. Other documents are outlined for you, what is required at the genuine student stage, and that will differ from country to country. Academic requirements, these are listed. Now, what you'll see is when you go into the academic section, you will see SCU. And if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see the hotel school. So hotel school academic requirements are separately listed here. You will see for the Bachelor of Business in Hotel Management, for students from Nepal, this requires completion of 12th grade with a minimum score of 3 in the NEB. Now, obviously, that would be different for India. It would be different for Bangladesh or whatever country you're from, and you'll see that in the relevant country areas. Entry into the postgraduate course, into the master's degree, requires completion of an Australian bachelor's degree or equivalent. So to see whether or not the bachelor degree is equivalent, you can look up under the postgraduate section, under the Southern Cross area. It will be the same for both. So postgraduate entry for an applicant from Nepal would require successful completion of a 4-year bachelor degree from a recognized university with a minimum 60% calculated across the degree. So that would be the most common one. If there are other options, they will be listed here. Now I'm going to swap from Nepal now and use India as an example and show the difference here. So for India, you can see the academic requirements are different depending on where the student comes from in India. If the student is from a low-risk area with a Group A qualification, the requirement is 67%. So a Group A qualification is listed here. That is the CBSE, CISCE, and West Bengal Council of Higher Secondary Education. If the student has done any of those 3 qualifications for 12th grade, the academic entry requirement for entry into the bachelor degree is 67%. Please note, there is an exception here. Applicants from Punjab and Haryana, including Chandigarh, must achieve 80% or higher in these examinations. So everyone else with these would be 67%, except students from these areas who would have to be 80%. Group B qualifications are listed here. So Group B qualifications will be 69%, Group C qualifications listed here, and that would be 76%. And Group D qualifications are all other state boards. But please note that we do not accept Punjab and Haryana State Board. So that would list out all of your undergraduate entry requirements into the bachelor degree. For postgraduate, This applies specifically to India. Someone was asking me about backlogs earlier. We will allow up to a maximum of 10 backlogs. Again, the only exception to that would be students who are obviously have a poor academic record with very low grades. We would look at the backlogs again and may not accept 10, but generally speaking, it would be 10. For postgraduate students from India, we will only accept Section 1 and 2 university graduates from Punjab and Haryana. We will accept Section 3 graduates from all other areas. However, there's a bit of a difference. So applicants from high-risk areas in India, that's Punjab and Haryana, must achieve 70% average, calculated over the duration of their degree. For education courses, that would be 60%. Applicants from other high-risk areas must achieve 60%, calculated over the duration of their degree. So as I've said, no Section 3 graduates allowed from the high-risk areas. All other applicants from Section 3 universities must have completed a 4-year degree. So if the student is from a low or medium risk area, we will accept Section 3 universities, but they must have done a 4-year degree, not a 3-year degree. And again, the hotel school is listed down below, but the academic requirements are all listed out here. If we're looking at the financials, these will apply to all level 2 and 3 countries. So they are the same regardless of what country the student comes from. If we look at the top section, there are some general notes up there. For example, we don't generally accept finances from agricultural sources unless they are included in the ITR or tax documents. So if they're declared, we will accept them. If not, we can't. So you can read through all of that information. I will go through the key points. As I said, this applies to everyone. There are some things that are important. For example, we do not accept 100% loan. Immigration has made it very clear to us that 100% loan is very possible to result in visa refusal. We must show that the student has some savings of their own. So we will allow up to 80% loan with 20% coming from savings or other income sources. It's also important to note that we do not allow a large amount of income coming from rental. We will allow up to 20% of the total income from rental. Again, this may differ depending on the country you're from, as in the percentage might differ. So always check your own country. Sponsors, generally speaking, the only financial sponsors we will accept will be parents, spouse, grandparents, and parents-in-law. These are generally the only sponsors we will accept. We generally do not accept aunts and uncles or siblings. There are some circumstances in which we will do that, and I will go over that in a moment. The sponsors must meet a minimum income requirement. This is for India, $25,000 per annum, Australian, and that can be across your sponsors. Now, we allow only 2 sponsors. However, if the parents are both sponsoring, mother and father both sponsoring, we consider that as 1. so they can then have a grandparent also sponsor. The $25,000 income is the combined income of their sponsors. So if they have two sponsors, it is $25,000 for those two sponsors. If they have only one sponsor, it means that sponsor must earn at least 25,000 Australian dollars per year. That is for a single applicant. If the applicant is married, the minimum income requirement is $30,000 per year. Now, I said earlier that we don't usually accept aunts, uncles, or siblings, but we will accept in the following cases. If the applicant is an orphan, that is, both parents have passed away, and the aunt, uncle, or sibling has been responsible for their care, and this can be proven, we will accept them as a sponsor. If one parent has deceased and the applicant can show evidence that their aunt, uncle, or sibling has been providing them with financial support, we will accept them. Also, if the aunt, uncle, or sibling is an Australian permanent resident or citizen, not a temporary resident, who is living and working in Australia and can provide evidence that they meet the minimum annual income requirement in Australia, we will accept that. And that is a minimum of 72,465 Australian dollars in the 12 months immediately before they apply. So those are the only circumstances under which we would accept those relatives as a sponsor. Generally speaking, for individual financial support, we require a savings history of 6 months. If the source of funds is from sale of property or other disposable assets, the applicant must also provide evidence of the relationship of the person who is selling the property. Then we've got all this information on genuine access to funds. This is exactly the same information that immigration provides. So I would recommend that you read through that when you have time. In the minimum genuine student requirement section, again, this may differ depending on the country that you are from, remembering that this is from India. In India, we have a different deposit structure. So for undergraduate students, we require a 12-month deposit for undergraduate students from high-risk areas. So those are these states here, and 6-month deposit for all postgraduate students from Punjab and Haryana. Those coming from other states will be 6 months, not 12 months. The age, we have age limitations depending on the country again. For India, 25 years of age for a bachelor degree is the general cutoff, and 30 years for a postgraduate degree. Those are the general rule. We will look at some on a case-by-case basis if the student can provide evidence of why or what they've been doing and why they want to apply older. But generally, that is the rule. We do not allow students under the age of 18. Someone asked that question before in the chat box. We will accept an application when the student is under 18, but we will not issue a COE until they have turned 18 years old. Gaps in study, again, these will vary from country to country, but for India, undergraduate students, if they have a gap of up to 6 months, we will accept that without any evidence. If the gap is 12 months, up to 12 months, between 6 and 12 months, they must provide evidence of what they have been doing. For postgraduate students, we generally allow up to 5 years maximum for applicants from low and medium risk areas. and 2 years maximum for students from higher risk areas. In terms of marriage, we do not allow married students for undergraduate programs. We do allow married applicants for postgraduate programs, but they must have been married for at least 12 months at the time of application, not at the time of commencement, at the time of application. And we do not accept married applicants from high-risk areas. Those high-risk areas are listed here. Generally speaking, if a student has commenced a degree in their home country, so they've started a bachelor degree, they've done 1 year, and now they want to transfer to Australia to do their degree, we would consider that a red flag, and it is likely that the student would not be accepted. Specific GSR requirements, again, you'll have a link to the Genuine Student Template. The finances must be met as indicated, and all students from level 2 and 3 countries will be interviewed. So they must prepare for the interview to ensure that they pass. English language requirements are all set out clearly here, so you will see the difference in the different qualifications. Where we are talking about diploma, this is relating to the Southern Cross University diplomas. If it is a diploma of hotel management, you will see that the requirement is slightly different compared to the Southern Cross diploma. Undergraduate courses, the graduate diploma, postgraduate and graduate diploma and Master of Teaching in Early Childhood. So for hotel school students, generally you would see the undergraduate requirement is IELTS 6 with no band less than 5.5, and postgraduate would be IELTS 6.5 with no band less than 6. For level 2 and 3 countries, we generally do not allow ELICOS pathways. Students must meet the English language requirement at the time of application. So that is a brief overview. As I said, this tool is a really useful guide. You can find all of the information that you need in this tool. And hopefully you do find it useful. So that is the end of my presentation. I'll pass back to Tim now, and we've still got some time for questions, I guess. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you very much, John. That's a wonderful tool for our partners to have access to that level of detail at their fingertips anytime they need to. It's always updated. It's save it as your home screen on your browser. There's a lot of questions in here, but I think that you've addressed the majority of them, John, with your presentation there. Just going through. There was a question around visitor visa refusals from Australia within 12 months. How do we view those, John?
Yeah, so when it comes to any type of visa refusal, we do not reject the student automatically. What we do is ask for a copy of the visa refusal notice and decision record. We will have a look at what the reasons are for that visa refusal. If we think that the reason is not related to the student's application for a student visa, then we would approve that. So yeah, we always give students the chance to explain the reason before we make a decision.
Amazing. Okay, thank you, John. Okay, we've got a couple of minutes left. There's just a couple of things left that I would like to address. First of all, The regional managers that you've been dealing with for the Southern Cross University Metro campuses will now be the regional managers you can deal with for the hotel school as well. So one unified team across the recruitment and admissions. And the other thing that I'm really pleased to be able to announce is that we do have some scholarships for the hotel school. So the hotel school is not part of SCU. You will have heard have this amazing Access 25. The hotel school is not in that Access 25 program at the moment, but we do have scholarships available up to 30% off the first year tuition fees. So please contact your RMs if you have any students who are interested. Get your applications in, and yeah, we will be able to provide you more details. But 30% scholarships for first year are on offer for T1 and T3 2025 at this stage. Okay, well, I think we are just about out of time. Once again, a huge thank you to everybody for giving up their time to be here. I really appreciate it on a Friday. Huge thanks to our VIP, Mr. John Crowder, for his expertise and very detailed presentation. Thank you to other colleagues on the call as well. And we will share a recording of this with you early next week. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. We're happy to support and really excited to be working with you to recruit some more quality students. So thank you once again, and we'll end the session there. Have a great Friday, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.